His name was David. David had everything. And anything that he didn't have, that he wanted, God said, I'll give it to you. David was feared, revered, and respected. And David was a mighty warrior. But at the time it was to go out to battle, this time David decided to stay at home, out of position. And the reason he wanted to stay home was because he was pre-internet. He could only get his pornography at a certain time. And the time for his pornography was drawing near. And so they said, it's time to go to battle. He said, wait a minute, I got to log on. But instead of logging on, he walked onto a balcony where he could watch a woman that he liked looking at bathe. Isn't it amazing how the king built his castle with a balcony that just happened to overlook the place where the women bathed? While he was watching his pornography, something was in there. Now, David not only had a wife, he had wives. Plural. So a man with wives is out looking at another woman. This is the Bible now. What about the wives? Yeah, but none of them are her. The woman he was looking at was Bathsheba. She had a husband. David said, I want her. Long story short, David brought her in. David committed adultery with her. She got pregnant because he didn't fully check the calendar. He realized he was in trouble. He wanted to try to push the child off on her husband. The problem was the husband was at battle. He brought the husband home to hope that the husband would sleep with his wife so that he could say the husband was saying, I can't be with my wife while my brother in that battle. See, the husband had integrity. So then he sent the husband out into the heat of the battle so that he could be killed. You say, how could a person get there? It doesn't take long. One of the things I tell my children, the journey from success to failure is not a long one. It's not a long one. It's not miles, just blocks. It doesn't take many bad choices to end up in a really horrible place. Watch this. And so verse number 12, now God is done with David. Chapter 12, verse number 1, it says, and the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him, and said unto him, there were two men in one city, one rich, the other poor. And the rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up. And it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and lay in his own bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb, dressed it for the man that was come unto him. Dressed it means killed it and made it dinner. And David's anger was greatly kindled against that man. And he said unto Nathan, as the Lord lives, the man that has done this thing shall surely die. Who would dare take something that belonged to somebody else? And he shall restore fourfold because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thou hast said, thus said the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and delivered unto thee the hand of Saul. And I gave thee thy master's house, thy master's wives into thy bosom. I gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah, And if it had been too little, I would have more have given unto thee such and such a things. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight, and thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite, that was Bathsheba's husband, with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house. I will take thine wives before thy eyes, and give them to thy neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of this sun. And listen, for thou did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all of Israel and before the sun. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord has put away your sin. Thou shalt not die. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme. In other words, you've allowed your actions to run down God's name.